Okay. Let's start with how and why triathlon. How did you get involved? Go back to your childhood. What kind of sports you played, and how you got started in triathlon.
Okay, as a kid, I pretty much tried every sport. So when I was young, probably under sixes, under fives, I played soccer. Then I did some gymnastics for a few years.
Gymnastics?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Oh, it was a long time ago. It was okay. I really enjoyed it at the time, but I got to a stage where I got to high school and it wasn't really the right thing to do, so I dropped out. And I'd probably reached the end of my ability as well, so it was probably.
Can you do the splits?
I used to be able to.
That's impressive.
Yeah, no chance now.
Right.
What else did I do? So that probably took me into high school, and then after that I started playing tennis, and tennis was my thing.
Tennis?
Until early 20s, I think.
Yeah, right. Do you play it now?
No, haven't played for maybe 5 or 6 years.
Really?
We used to play, I was part of a group, and we're all teenage boys and really loved it, and travelled around to country tournaments and things like that. I wasn't great. I made A grade, but I wasn't great.
Be a little bit short for the serve, wouldn't you?
No.
Big, powerful serve.
I'm quite tall. You'd be surprised.
So, what about running? You must have done some running.
At school, I did some cross country, and I was terrible. Like, I just couldn't. I was thinking about it, and I think it was to do with pacing and just wanting to do it. I wasn't into it at all.
Oh, you just didn't like running?
No.
Yeah, right.
No, not at all. So I didn't. Probably my first running I did properly was a bridge to Brisbane in about 2012, probably 2010 or so.
And what made you do that? Just because getting fit?
Yeah, I decided to do some boot camps and tried to lose a bit of weight.
Yeah. So let's get on to triathlon then. How'd you get into the triathlon?
So I was running. I'd been running for probably 5 years at that stage, and I had a coach, an online training plan for running to do half marathons, and I had a goal that I wanted to achieve, and I got it. And then I was like, okay, what now? What do I do? I was bored because the training plan was online. I didn't have a group that I was running with. So all through winter training for the half marathons, I was running in the dark by myself, and I was pretty done by the end.
Yeah. So
I just started looking for a running group around Nunda, and I contacted there's a Facebook page, Nunda Community or something like that.
Right.
I said, can you post something, because I'm looking for a running group, and Andy replied, and then we started chatting, and I started running.
Yeah. Right.
First run was
just the intention of running, or
just running.
Yeah.
I just wanted to run.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And but you knew he had the triathlon squad.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just turned up for the run days.
It just didn't interest you to do that?
Not at the beginning, no. No, the swim scared me, and I didn't have a bike, so I was restricted to running. So
what made you? Just the group? Was it peer pressure, or was it?
Pretty much. Yeah. So I started the runs, and then on the swim days, I'd sort of take a casual run down to Chermside Pool and have a sticky beak and see what people were up to, and then run
without
home
going
again.
in.
Oh, I went in eventually. So you just kept having a look, and it didn't look too daunting, so I jumped in. And
So it was just your second anniversary of your first triathlon the other day. What race is that?
That was, first one was Raby Bay.
Raby Bay.
Yeah, sprint.
Sprint distance.
Yep.
So 750, 20 and 5.
Yep.
Where'd you come in the swimming?
Last out the water. I can't remember how long it took me, but it was 750. It must have been like 16, 17 minutes maybe.
You sent it to me the other day. I wish I had it.
Yeah.
And how much? Do you remember what the overall time was?
1:17, I think.
What would you do that in now?
I'd like to try. I'd hope for maybe under 1:10 if I could.
You haven't done a sprint since?
So sprints I've done 2 all up. I think I've done 2 Raby Bays.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You didn't do that as a beginners group, did you?
No, I
just did it.
I just did it. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many triathlons have you done all up now?
So I've probably done 2 sprints.
Yep.
3 Olympics. So I did 2 Kingies and Byron. And then...
That were your 3 Olympics?
3 Olympics, yeah. And then 2 halves and Harvey Bay. So what's that? 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So after you'd done those Olympics, and you signed up for Tweed, why'd you sign up for Tweed? Is that just? Do you think it was just a progression thing, or
Yeah, it was.
Everyone else was doing it.
I never thought that I would do a distance that size, but I got to the end of the Olympics and I felt pretty good. Like I did decent times. I think I did under 2:30 for 2 of them, which I was really happy with.
Yep.
And I thought it's really not that much more training to get there. The swim was probably the most I was worried about, but it was an additional 400 metres, so it wasn't too far.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there was a good group going there, so I signed up and did.
So you mentioned the swim a couple of times. Let's talk about that. So how bad were you when you started? You couldn't have been that bad.
It took me a while to understand how I should be swimming. I remember my first 25 metres down at Chermside, I tried to do bilateral breathing, and by the end of 25 metres I was done. Like I was out of breath. But once I got the aerobic fitness, I guess, for swimming, it took off a bit after that.
Yeah, because you made some quick progression there for a while. Was there a reason for that? You don't know? Was it just like getting into the pool, or
I think just getting into the pool.
Yeah,
and doing consistent sessions a week.
Okay.
No, I like to read a lot and look at videos and things. So I did a bit of my own analysis and tried to work out where I could improve. Yeah, and that seemed to help.
So from where you started to now, that's pretty big progression.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm comfortably in the 150 lane now. Yeah, I can't see myself moving for a while though.
Yeah. And then, so you got to a stage where you weren't worried about the swim leg.
No, I feel
part of the triathlon.
I still get nervous about it, but I'm comfortable that I can do a time that I'm happy with.
Yeah. Okay, so we're doing Tweed. So we've signed up for Tweed, and this is going to be your first long
half. Yeah, first long distance.
Yeah, and you're on a program, getting ready for that.
Yep.
Yeah. Your training before that, leading up to it, was really good.
Yeah, it felt good. I was consistently turning up. I was following my program. I was introduced to wind trainer, which I didn't really enjoy that much, but I got the sessions done. And I think that seemed to help me and definitely made me feel stronger on the bike.
Yeah. So you were pretty confident going into Tweed.
Yeah, probably a bit overconfident, I think.
Yeah. And okay, because it was your first long one.
First long one, yeah. I felt good in each of the disciplines, but putting the 3 together at that distance I hadn't done before. So
yeah, and like I remember everyone would have been boosting you up too, like saying that you're going to do well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I guess just
from looking at your training, everyone's going,
like in each separately I can do pretty well, and I got boosted, and I felt pretty good.
Yeah, we were all patting you on the back and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, before the race, which is.
So let's talk about the day then. So, but you did an okay swim.
Yeah, I felt good. I did just over 41 minutes into a current, which was really good.
Yeah,
and it felt good.
Yeah. And then got out onto the bike. The bike was like there was a bit of headwind halfway, wasn't it? Like going out.
Yeah,
and the course wasn't all that smooth.
No, I felt the headwind straight away. So as soon as I transitioned onto the bike and started off on the first lap, I was a bit like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. The wind was straight into my face, and the road was rougher than I had expected as well. So things weren't really going to the plan that I'd envisioned. Yeah,
but you did a pretty good bike time though, didn't you?
Yeah, it was 2:51.
Yeah,
I think, with some decent wind, so that was good.
Yeah,
but I was really pushing it. I was pushing hard into the wind because I had an idea of the speed I wanted to maintain, and I wasn't hitting that into the wind, so I was pushing harder and harder.
Yeah, okay.
Just to try and get that speed, which is...
And you sort of, that's just because you're in a race and you're getting carried away a little bit. Did you realise you were doing it at the time? Did you go, oh, shit?
I sort of did, but I didn't make any adjustments for the road, for the wind or for the heat, because it was starting to warm up as well.
Yeah. So we jump off the bike with a reasonably good time and reasonably going to plan, but you had that couple of little struggles and you had to push it a little bit. And you're onto the run. So the run's your strength.
Yep.
It's 3 laps course. Let's talk about
that. Okay. Probably before I got onto the run, on the last lap of the bike, I could really start to feel my legs fatigue, and I've had cramping before, and I could feel in specific areas of my legs are really starting to twitch, and I sort of had an idea of what was ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you knew it was going to be a struggle.
I did, yeah.
And it was heating up too.
It was getting pretty warm. So first lap of the run, 7Ks, I averaged, say, 5:10, which was slower than I wanted because I was really starting to feel my legs and I was trying to make sure I wasn't overusing them. And then
that's such a terrible time.
and then the cramps started.
Yeah.
So started
on the first lap.
I could feel the twitching was getting worse, and just as I started the second lap, that's when it started. So I started in the VMOs, which are, you can see it on the camera, these bits. Have you
look at those pins. So just on the inside of your leg.
Inside both there, that's where it started. So they're locked up, and then quads started to go, and that's when I had to start walk run, and then calves, and I was done after that. So it was probably about a 10 or 12K walk.
So your last lap, you walked the last lap, didn't you?
Yeah.
And that's your strength, the run. So how'd that feel? You're obviously
it was a bit demoralising, disappointing, because I really wanted to push the run and see how when I had a time that I wanted to hit, and yeah, because of the cramp, I just didn't get anywhere close.
So I know that was your first longer distance race, but you'd had some issues with cramping before?
Yeah, I'd done a marathon in 2012.
Yeah.
And at the 34K mark, I was like dead in the water, calves and quads again. And
did you have to walk the end of that?
I walked and then stretched a bit and then ran a bit and then walked. And
yeah, okay.
Yeah, just got through it.
Time.
Yeah, and even in some of the longer training rides, I'd get off and my adductors would cramp or something just wouldn't feel right.
Yeah.
So it's a long-standing thing that I hadn't really addressed before.
But it brought you to a standstill. Though. For you to walk that far, that's that's essentially half the course you walk.
Yep.
So then so you finished that race, you're shattered by that. What did you do about trying to fix that up?
So like I normally do, I did a lot of Googling and looking at videos and reading stuff and tried to understand what causes cramping in different people and get to the root cause for me and understand what it is and try and fix it. Yeah.
And what did that involve for you?
So there's probably three things that I looked at. Probably the first was a bike fit, proper bike fit. So I had one in the shop, just a quicker one. But I went back to the giant shop in the city and got a good proper bike fit there with Aaron. And the reason for that was the VMOs. I think when I was pedaling, my feet were pointing in, my toes were pointing in, and that caused more pressure on my VMO. So instead of pushing with the larger quad muscle, I was pushing with that VMO, and that just got worked until it fatigued.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So the bike fit, that was one thing?
That was one.
Yep.
Training at intensity is probably the next one. So a lot of research that I was reading was saying that, and it seems really logical, that if you're not training at the intensity that you're racing at, then there's more susceptibility for cramping.
So does that mean you were going too fast in training?
Well, I wasn't going fast enough.
Right,
so I wasn't training at the right intensity, so I had to up the intensity, especially on the bike.
Right.
So those workouts that we do out towards the airport, where we do 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off, is perfect for that. So I go above race pace and go pretty hard, and then 10 minutes off and do that for 2 hours.
Okay.
And that definitely helped. And the wind trainer strengthening my legs as well.
Yeah, okay. And the running, more intensity in the running, or?
Probably longer runs off the bike as well, and sub race pace as well. So really push hard.
Yeah, right.
So and it gives you confidence as well. So if you can do it in training, then at a quicker pace, then you can do it in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And the third thing?
Was a sweat analysis test. Yeah.
So what did that cost?
It's probably $240.
And you did that through
through a dietitian.
Through a dietitian.
Yep.
And what did it involve? Just
so I had to take my wind trainer and set up my bike and got sweat patches in a few different places over your body. And you do a weigh-in, so you weigh yourself and you weigh any fluids that you're going to drink and pedal for half an hour. Then they take the sweat samples away, keep going for another half an hour, and then you do another weigh-in after that. So it tests how much you've sweated, so how much fluid has come out of your body in the hour, and after a few weeks you get the analysis of the sweat back as well.
Right, so you could be losing more vitamins or something than someone else out of your sweat. That's what could happen?
Absolutely. It's really more focused on sodium, so the salt that you're losing.
Right.
Yep.
So even though someone might sweat as much as you do, they might not lose the same amount of sodium?
Absolutely right. It's a very personal thing. Everyone's different.
Yeah. And you obviously, so what was the feedback from your results on that?
I've got them here. I thought I'd read them out so that I don't get it wrong.
Very thorough, Andrew.
I am. I have been prepared. So, there's a scale for the amount of sweat that you lose, and in a male, it's the well below average scale starts at below 0.85 milliliters, or 0.85 of a liter, sorry, and the top of the scale is over 3.5 liters, and that's in an hour. And I'm below average there, so I sweat just over a liter per hour.
Which is good.
Which is good. I'm happy with that. And the next is the sweat sodium classification. The scale for male is it's milligrams per litre, so milligrams of sodium per litre. The lowest, well below average, is 285 milligrams, and the well above average is 1141 milligrams. And I sweat 1505. So I'm well above, I'm off the charts.
You're well above.
I am, yeah, exceeds.
That's good to be good at something.
Yeah, it is.
So you lose more sodium, way more sodium than most people.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
And look, just anecdotally, I remember you showing me your vest after Harvey Bay recently.
Yeah.
And you could just see the sweat marks down your...
Absolutely, just down your salt. You could almost salt your chips with what was coming
Exactly,
off.
It's terrible, isn't it? So what do you have to do with that? Is it sodium tablet? So what do you have to do?
So it's really just replace as much sodium as you're losing.
Yeah.
So I need to replace at least 1,300 milligrams of sodium per hour while I'm out on the course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do that by?
A combination of things. So I've got Infinite. So I've jacked up the sodium in the Infinite. I've got goo tablets as well. So there's tablets that you stick in water. They've got sodium in them, and handfuls of salt tablets.
Really?
Yeah.
So how many salt tablets would you take
for a half Ironman? I'd probably take 15 to 20.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd be
it's out of control. Yeah, it would be. But you can't overdose. I've been told. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Especially you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got some answers, and you've got some solutions. And so you've signed up for the Sunny Coast.
Sunny Coast was the next one. I wore the shirt.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yep.
And your training was pretty good leading up into that.
Training was good.
Yep. You practiced your nutrition and that kind of stuff.
Yes, that was really important to make sure that, firstly, I knew what to do in what order, because it's quite specific in the times that I need to take stuff.
Okay.
And also that my stomach could handle that much sodium as I'm doing it as well.
Yeah. Okay.
As I didn't mention that on the run as well, I've got gels with increased sodium as well.
Sodium, okay. But you've done that in practice, but this is going to be your first race since Tweed.
Yep.
So you're a bit nervous leading up into it. You've trained the house down. Everyone's probably giving you a pat in the back going, okay, you're going to kill it, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
As we all do. How are you feeling before that race?
I felt pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep. I always get nervous, so I tried to control the nerves. It was great that we had a accommodation directly across the road from the transition, so that was good for race morning. I felt really calm, and I could do everything in my own time and my own space, so I was happy with that. And getting into the swim, I felt good.
So you did talk about the swim, because you had a bit of a
stuff up on the swim. So the swim, you go out for 200 meters, you turn right, and you go out across for about 800 meters, turn left, it's a bit of a box. And I missed one of the boys, so on the long stretch out, I started veering to the left and popped my head up and saw people swimming straight across in front of me and couldn't understand why. And then I looked to my right and there was a boy that I missed, so I had to go back 200 meters or so.
So you had to swim backwards?
Yeah.
To sort of make up for the ground?
Yeah.
And you can see that on Strava actually. The little thing, you can see the
little dog leg.
So that's a bit of a stinker, but you kept going.
Kept going, and that didn't phase me. I still
Yep.
felt okay. I didn't let it overwhelm me and just stuck at my pace.
And you still did a pretty good time.
Yeah, really good. 34 minutes or so.
34 minutes, yeah. And then jumped on the bike.
Bike, yep. Transition was good onto the bike, and I had all my nutrition set up, and I had a plan to race to heart rate and a speed that I wanted to hit as well. So heart rate was around 140, and speed was 33 k's an hour.
And you kept at that?
Yep. Got off the bike, and that's exactly what I'd done.
Yeah. So what time was that end up being? 2:30 or something?
No, it was 2:40 something.
2:42.
Yep. Could be about it.
But that was everything went to plan. You had all your nutrition. You took everything in.
Absolutely.
You didn't feel. Were you feeling any twitches then at this stage? Nothing.
Nothing at all. So I'd taken all my salt and
felt really good.
Focused on keeping my cadence right, and my legs. Were good at the end. Yeah.
No punctures, nothing like that.
No. Didn't see anyone on the side of the road with a puncture.
So we're off the bike, feeling great, and we're hitting the run. Now again, because these half Ironman times, they're always bloody in the middle of the day when running. So it's getting hot again.
Yep.
And you're off.
Yeah.
Talk about the
run. Got off the bike and felt good, and was ready for the run, and then started to feel some twitching a little bit in my quads. So took some additional salt tablets and
above what you thought you were going to.
What I thought, yeah.
So you've taken extra out there.
Yeah, I've got a little race belt, and I just stack as many as I can.
Okay.
And felt really good. So
so that went away. That you felt the twitching, and it sort of goes away.
And I had some.
You get a little trigger, and you can affect that.
Try and control it a bit. Yeah,
that's good.
And I've got some Roctane goo gels as well that have increased sodium, so I took those, and it felt good. Yeah, even in the heat, because it was heating up quite a bit.
And you had a goal pace?
I did. Yep. Goal pace was 4:45, and not quite. I've got 4:52, I think.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you weren't a long way off?
No, a little bit off.
Yep. And you held that for the whole time?
Yeah, I was pretty consistent. I was lucky enough to meet up with Reese on lap 2, I think, and we ran together for a while, which helped me out. And then, I just finished it at the end. Yeah. Tried to pick it up at the end, and over that hill was a bit tough, but I was flying down the other side. Yeah,
and you had no issues, no more twitching?
Nothing.
All right. So, and you finished, what time did you finish in?
5:07.
5:07.
Close to 5:08, yep.
So that would have been over an hour better than Tweed?
Tweed was very close to 6, so it was 50 minutes probably.
Yeah, okay.
Quicker than Tweed.
And then, but you've done you had your goals, and you nearly hit those in each leg.
Yeah, my plan when I wrote it out was 5:12 that I would get at the end. I got 5:07. So
yeah, cool. So you must have been wrapped.
I was, yeah. I was stoked.
It's stoked that you had you found a solution to you.
Yeah. But then thinking about the race and thinking where I could improve and what I could do differently.
Oh, so just like a normal person.
Yeah.
So that doesn't, and you just did Harvey Bay as well. Again, that's another long one, and you had no issues up there.
I started towards the end, so it's
load up on the salt again.
80k bike, 18k run. Yep, more salt. I think because it was a bit hotter and I was pushing it more on the run, the pace was a little bit quicker. Cramped? Adductor, and I could feel some twitching in my calves, but I got to the end without anything drastic.
Yeah, right.
A few short stretch stops, and that was it.
Yeah, cool. All right, so that's a happy ending.
It is.
So what happens now? So you've done that's 3 long courses now.
Yep.
Is there any stage where you might man up and do a proper race, or
so I can get a shirt like you're wearing?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have any plan to do that yet.
Is that but that's not because of cramping issues or anything? That's
just for me and the amount of training I can do,
time, whatever.
Yeah, and I like the half distance, I think. Yeah. Even when I was running, I preferred the half distance over a marathon.
Yeah.
For me, I think it just suits me at the moment. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, just not tough enough. Okay, we all understand. That's all right. So what is going to happen next? So how's this going to end? You know, you've done a couple of years. Like you just had your second anniversary of your first triathlon.
Yep.
You started to kill a couple of like really good times in the longer courses.
Yep.
What's going to happen now? What's your next goal?
Next goal, I'd love to do under 5 hours for a half Ironman.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's only 7 minutes.
It is.
If you swim the course, maybe that'll help.
It could help.
But so that's the next goal.
Next goal, and that'll be Port Macquarie.
So yeah, okay, you're going to do Port Macquarie.
Yeah, so I'll probably do Mooloolaba. I think it's early March, which is an Olympic.
Oh yeah.
And then Port Mac, yeah. I was just thinking, when's Sunny Coast next year?
It's a couple of weeks out. It's in August. It's the end of August, I
I'll
think.
probably do that as well.
Yeah.
So I'll train up for Port Mac and continue training for Sunny Coast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, cool. So that's for next year.
Yep.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to talk about after that?
I don't think so.
No.
I'll sledge you later.
All right. Okay. Well, that's
Cool.
it, and that's all I got for you.
Good. Thanks.
You cool with that?
Yep.